Hey, Riot friends. Getting to the bottom of this cup of coffee here.
Is that your only cup so far this morning?
No.
Oh, that's...
I had the cup that I brought from home.
Oh. Is that your only RadioU cup? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say it that way. That's better.
To start, no, I had a lot of caffeine today. I'm not afraid to admit it. I could probably use a little less.
You had a busy weekend, and sometimes that leads to more coffee on Monday.
Real talk, like it has been, the last couple of weeks have been crazy busy. We wrapped up the fundraiser. I had a funeral to go to last week. I had a lot going on at home last week. Then we did the pumpkin show. I was at the Columbus Marathon yesterday. This Thursday night, we've got our
next Riot Live event.
And I just want you to know in advance, next Monday, I'm taking the day off.
See, our Riot Live event this week also has many meetings that go along with it to make it happen. So it's another long week. But you're right. Let's look forward to next Monday.
Yep.
Go ahead and mark it down, Obi. There'll be no podcast.
There'll be no podcast
that day because Obi will be out that day.
You know what? You can watch the live event again. That's happening this Thursday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. It'll be live on Facebook. So you'll get an opportunity to spend some extra time with us if you so desire.
Yeah, if you want to watch us host a special evening show, this will be for Halloween, so we'll be in our costumes.
Well, this podcast opens up with us discussing some of the food that we should have, care of Michael. And I just want to say for the rest of you, if you've got some ideas for us, text us 877-2RadioU. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Email riot@radiou.com.
Any food fight items. We always answer a lot of questions from people. So we sometimes get pre-questions in. So then we'll make sure to get your answer during the show.
Yeah. Other things in today's podcast, we talk about voodoo fingers. Mitt Romney, which we may have never talked about on this show before.
And Twitter.
Yeah. That might be my favorite thing of the day. Just
it's very odd.
It is, but it seems very odd, but oddly humanizing. We talked the new Terminator, Obadiah as a monster. Yes.
Monster.
Monster. It's real. Christmas lights in Nikki's neighborhood, Canadian movies, Qantas. So should keep you busy.
Get a nice assortment today.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Nikki and I are going to, go to meetings and stuff.
Actually, we are. And I want to remind everybody, if you've not checked out shop.radiou.com before, if you're normally just a Riot podcast listener, there's merchandise for Radio U, including our new lightweight Radio U jacket. There's a Radio U scarf and more.
All right. Well, you guys have a great
day. Hour, whatever.
And we will see you.
Oh, they're there.
Tomorrow.
Oh, you covered it.
Oh, I pulled it back in.
You pulled that yawn right back in.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening today.
Bye.
Uncomfortable silences during that morning carpool? Not a problem. These two never shut up. It's The Riot on Radio U.
Back from another successful weekend.
Glad it's over, right?
Glad to get a chance to wrap it up.
Let's just move right into the week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just exciting to think that we could be headed into another week right now.
Actually, this week we do have our Riot Live event on Thursday, which we'll tell you more details about. So we do have a good week planned.
Yeah, we do. I'm just not ready for it yet.
Well, we have a few days, so.
Not ready for it. Did have a couple of people hit me up with some suggestions for things that we should be eating on
for
Thursday
this Thursday?
night.
Yeah, including our boss who sent us Krispy Kreme has their monster donuts, and that made the list.
Mumford, Slyman, and Hypno Henry.
Is that the name of the donuts?
Those are the names of the donuts. Let's see. Slyman is an original glazed donut with lemon slime filling.
That's all right. I mean, it'd still be fine.
All right. Mumford is an original glazed donut wrapped in purple icing. Okay. Yeah.
Better.
And then Hypno Henry hypnotizes fans into wanting more donuts. That is a donut filled with cake batter, dipped in yellow icing and orange sanding sugar with a mesmerizing icy swirl.
Well, at first with the descriptions, that sounds the best, but we'll see. We'll try them on Thursday.
Halloween donuts are not available in Connecticut or Hawaii.
No Halloween for you guys? wonder why.
I guess
What
not.
is a part of these donuts that are not available in those two places?
Mm-hmm. So, and if you go there on Halloween in costume, you get a free donut of choice.
Ooh.
Don't you get a free donut? No, they don't. They stopped doing that. That's right.
Yeah. And
It used to be that if you came in, you got a free donut, but they don't do that anymore.
just like any time in costume?
Yes.
Or?
No. Just any time at all.
Oh, you just go in and ask for one?
You could go in and have a free glazed donut for, I think it was just glazed, but yeah, you could go in and get one donut, and that was it. They'll get it made by donut.
The first hit's free, is
That's
it?
exactly right.
And now they're like, well, you can have a free one if you dress up in costume, and it's any style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, just think of that. Whatever you want. You just got to drive over there.
On Thursday, when we do our next Riot Live event, which, like I said, we'll give you more details later, we are going to be in costume. So we'll see what we get.
So exciting.
Obadiah and Nikki tried their hardest, and that's what really matters. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So this weekend, I found a write-up about something that I think maybe I've heard of it, but I'm not really sure. But this write-up is in the New York Times, and it's called Action Park. Have you ever heard of Action Park before?
Is it a TV show? Is it a park? Or?
Action Park was a
movie?
Well, it's not a movie. It's it was a
lifestyle?
It was a water park.
Oh, water park.
Yeah, it was a water park that was in New Jersey, Vernon, New Jersey. And a lot of people were basically a lot of people got hurt there. And there were a lot of things in it that were just crazy.
Was it back in the day when like they weren't regulating things for it? Or
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, it was stuff like people would get broken bones, bloody noses, all this stuff. But a lot of people considered it to be part of the experience
with it.
Like, yeah, you go to Action Park and things get real.
Looks
kind
like
of a thing.
Action Park had Alpine Center, Motor World, and Water World.
They had, like, for example, they had a water slide that had a loop in it.
You can't do that, really? It did? Is everybody okay? Or
No.
No? Okay.
No. They shut it down.
They did.
In 1996.
The popularity went hand in hand with a reputation for poorly designed rides, undertrained, underage staff, drunk guests, and staff as well, and a very poor safety record.
So the reason people are talking about it is they recently dropped a trailer for this documentary that I'm going to have to see. It's called Class Action Park.
They used to call it Traction Park.
What?
Because, like, your
'cause it hurt
arm
your
would be in
back?
your body would be in traction.
No, I don't want to go there.
Well, yeah, it's not around, is it?
No, it's not. But I'm just saying that sounds like one of those dumb things where I would absolutely be the guy that got hurt in that mix.
I guess it opened in 1978 and closed in 1996. But you're right. That'd be a fascinating documentary to watch.
I want to see it. Because how do you operate a place for 18 years that has a reputation for people getting just slaughtered?
Apparently you can.
All right. Well, I feel like you and I have, like, this has its special place on the internet that we probably interacted with, but I want to see this Class Action Park documentary that
And
they
where
put
will
together.
this be at?
Well, you know what? The trailer is out there, but I haven't seen a release date yet. I'm looking at it. I'm looking for a release date now, but I don't see a release date on it yet. But I'll tell you this. You can Google it, Class Action Park, and find the trailer. And all I can say is I really, really hope.
Dude, if you got to go the wiki stuff too, like the loop water slide that you were saying was called Cannonball Loop. And the employees were reported to be offered $100 each to test it back in the day.
What?
It was open for only 1 month during the summer of 1985 before it was closed. Wow, this is fascinating. This is a documentary that I would like.
Sign this release. We'll give you $100
just to go ride it, to
test
try
this
it.
thing.
And then they got closed down.
Listen, I'm gonna set a Google alert or something, because when this comes out, I feel like we need to see Class Action Park. It looks amazing in a way that
it's terrible, but still, a really good documentary.
Giving every novelty food the publicity it so blatantly desires. It's The Riot on RadioU.
How many people find themselves thinking that they need some Popeyes chicken? I feel like since Popeyes hit the news with their
The chicken sandwich stuff?
since then, every time Popeyes sneezes, it's in the news like, hey, Popeyes sneezed and they put it on this chicken.
But I don't feel like it's led to people going back there in the same way as when the chicken sandwich was there.
Now, that is true, but
So they're still making news, but...
Right. I would just like to know if, has this led to some groundswell of support for more people going to Popeyes for chicken?
Don't know. How's the numbers now compared to then?
I don't know, but I do know this, that Popeyes just unveiled their new voodoo tenders.
Just in time for Halloween.
Which is a little weird because I've never seen a voodoo before. Just kidding. It's a play on chicken fingers. They say they are, quote unquote, fiery voodoo tenders.
So spicy?
Mm-hmm. They're classic crispy chicken strips doused with a garlicky sweet chili voodoo sauce, a heap of chives, and then the sauce is available on the side for dipping. So they have it in this photo paired with a mac and cheese.
Just a light mac and cheese. Perfect dinner.
Which was quite delightful. So what do you think? Spicy chicken voodoo?
We just don't have one nearby, so it's never in the wheelhouse of like lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
So probably not.
Me either. I feel like there's one. It's not that I couldn't go to one, but the one that was near us that would have been convenient was open for 3 hours.
Literally 3 hours, and then just it closed down. It's like that was it.
Okay, you know how earlier we were talking about the Class Action Park documentary?
Yeah.
It's a documentary they're making, should be out pretty soon, about a water park that happened in New Jersey and
like
it closed.
The 1990s.
Like all this stuff. I want a documentary on the Popeyes down the street from us.
You don't want to know.
I do.
You don't want to know.
I do. Don't you want to know why? Like, they got the sign up. They got a business loan to buy a franchise and completely set it up. They had everything in place.
Something must have really went wrong, but we've seen other restaurants do that. You know, they open and close rather quickly, but normally they're not a franchise. It's just I wanted to try to open my own restaurant, and they just couldn't do it.
How are you open for a day? I want to see that documentary.
I think
I would pay to watch it.
Something is that way. It's so illegal that you are closed down.
You're not allowed to know.
Yeah, it's not I don't think this is working out, because that normally takes a few months to figure out.
Yeah.
But for how fast things turned around, you feel like it's illegal.
It is true. Sometimes it is funny how with government, sometimes they're like, it takes a long time, but every once in a while they're like, oh no.
Something is so bad. You must close down right now.
We have to protect people.
It's that bad.
We actually have to.
Yes, and we don't see that too often, but every so often it does.
Well, in the meantime, voodoo tenders.
Yay. Ooh. I see their window for this stuff is pretty close to Halloween, which means they don't want to have any, so you're out of the voodoo tender sauce.
Well, they got 10 days.
They want to make sure they had enough.
I mean, unveiling voodoo tenders on November 1st seems like, what are you doing?
I mean, they cut it close to Halloween.
We're done with that now.
Some companies would have unveiled this like 2 months ago for a nice long opening.
Do you guys have any thankful tenders with a gravy dipping sauce?
That sounds pretty good. A white gravy.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
This is amazing. Does anybody remember Mitt Romney? He's a senator, still is. He used to be the governor of Massachusetts. I might be getting that one wrong. No, he was. So he's a senator in Utah now. Used to be the governor of Massachusetts. Ran for president in 2012. Most of the time, after somebody runs for president and loses, you just lose track of them. Sure. You're just like, I'm not listening to him, whatever. But this is amazing. The Atlantic, a magazine you don't read because, one, it's a magazine, and two, it's The Atlantic, had a piece that they had written on Mitt Romney. And in this, he admitted to being to having a second Twitter account that he used basically like his own personal account.
So but did he say that it was him in it, or was it an alias?
It's his. Yeah, he says, I'm what you call a lurker. And so it's his way. He follows about 700 people on Twitter. and is able to, he says, engage in the discussion around politics without people knowing that it's him.
Oh, so it doesn't say it's him.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so it's hidden or a secret.
Right, but after
so no one knows who it is? Or?
After he said that, it eventually came out. Pierre Delecto.
That's his alias?
Pierre Delecto.
Very delightful.
Is his fake Twitter handle. And so he goes around commenting on people. Apparently, I didn't know this because I don't keep track of these things, but apparently he's a very outspoken Trump critic. Mm-hmm. And so Pierre is also.
We're more vocal. We've seen politicians or people do that where they have one account where they're not supposed to show sides or be too vocal. And then they have like a hidden one where they like to be a troll. Yeah. Basically, or no, even more than just being yourself.
Yeah.
And then they get caught of like, why would you be the one doing this?
What's his name? Mark Driscoll, that guy. He was a guy I followed for years. It was like,
did he have an alias one?
He got busted big time for that.
So I think it's more done than we think.
Yeah. I love when asked about, does Pierre follow Trump on Twitter? He said, no. He says the president tweets too much. It's like my niece on Instagram. I love her, but it's like, it's too much.
It's too much to be able to follow.
I love that so much. It's like my niece on Instagram. It's too much. It's too much.
So I'm sorry, what is Mitt Romney's his
Pierre Delecto.
Pierre Delecto.
Oh my gosh, I think it's so funny. I think it is so funny. So, okay. Now I have to ask the question. Nikki, do you have a
I don't, but I mean, I don't use Twitter as much.
Okay. But all right. Do you have
I don't even use it enough for my actual Twitter account.
Okay.
Let alone to be trolling other people on another one.
So, you have at least 2 Instagram accounts that we know of.
Well,
there's your official one, and then there's your cinnamon sugar Pop-Tarts.
Instagram's different. I'm talking Twitter.
Okay.
Because on Instagram, you're not talking as much.
So, how many
just posting.
How many Instagram accounts do you have?
Just 2. That I know of, yeah. Why are you making a face at me?
I don't know. Because when you were like, you leaned hard into Twitter, but once we mentioned Instagram, it was like, wow.
I'm trying to remember breaking them all up. No, 1 on Twitter and then 2 on Instagram.
I do not have a Twitter alias, but I can tell you that I have thought about it. Because I have had things that I've just been desperate to say that I just can't.
Our normal ones, like, we know better than that. You're supposed to not say anything at all.
So you're like, you know what? I want an outlet where I can say whatever I want. But I have...
You text it all out. You type it all out. It's all ready to go. And you're like, fine, I'll delete it.
No, the whole reason I don't is because I've just been too afraid it would, in fact,
go out.
Traced back to me or go out on the wrong account.
The whining, the loathing, the insightful commentary on postmodern historical doctrine. Okay, maybe not the last one. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Let's get a little credit where credit is due. Who went to the gym this morning?
I did.
Who didn't?
I did. Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did.
You did not. I kept looking around. I was like, I was wondering if he was here, and then I didn't see you.
Oh, I totally wasn't.
But it's a large enough place. I thought we could not see each other just because you're usually in one area and you weren't there.
I'll tell you the other thing about seeing me at the gym is that I don't wear contacts anymore, and I don't wear my glasses in the gym.
You won't be able to see me at all.
So it is entirely possible that you could be in there and I never talk to you, and I'm not even ignoring you. I literally don't know. He doesn't even know I exist.
Well, first off, safety-wise, I feel like that's a problem. Shouldn't you get, like, workout glasses or something?
Oh, no, it's not that bad. I mean, I can see people.
Okay.
And I can, like,
I'm a person.
No. Okay.
Even from distances away.
Yeah, here's the other thing. Maybe this is just me being weird about it, but I try not to look at girls at the gym. Not in a way that's like,
understandable.
You're bad, I won't look at you, whatever. But, it's weird sometimes. There's something weird about it.
I think at the gym, you're just not supposed to really make eye contact with anybody.
It's like prison. You just try not to look at anyone or talk to anyone.
You're supposed to keep your head down until you're out.
Actually, it's funny. Now that you say it, you're actually right. Because I try not to look at girls in the gym, but guys too. In fact, I just want to be in there doing my thing, and that's it.
And then get out.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I won't talk to people. I do, but...
Well, if we're there the next time, together, and you don't wave or say hello, then I'm just sure you're not going to see me.
No, you know what I'm going to do when I see you in there.
I spent the whole morning afraid I would just hear someone shriek my name from the other side of the gym, and I thought, please don't do that.
Nikki!
It's like we're at the gym.
Nikki!
We're not supposed to draw attention to each other.
Hey, Nikki, how's it going? I'm yelling because your headphones are on, and I want you to be able to hear me.
So
it's so cool that we're at the gym together. Oh, my gosh.
So that hasn't happened yet now, but this morning was a great workout. You missed it. It was just a good time.
Okay. What would you prefer? Do you want me to, point and wink, sub, Nikki? Fist bump without a fist bump, I just raise my fist at you?
That's good.
Okay. Just remember that's a supportive fist, not a I'm going to hit you later fist.
Sure. No. We know that it's a nice one.
Okay.
Nice.
Good.
Kiss.
All right.
So that we'll see if we make tomorrow happen.
Well, I'll tell you who the real leader in this room is. It's you.
Why? I haven't been working out in forever.
I know, but you know what? This week started, and one of us was weak.
The other one went in.
And one of us was like, you know what?
No.
Somebody's got to get in here and lift these weights,
listen,
dang it.
Guys, we got to lose our summer weight before we gain our winter weight. So this is the only time.
I don't want to talk about that.
It's the only time that we have to lose a little bit of weight before Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I guess we have to go to the gym.
Okay. All right. Well, good on you, Nikki. You did it.
I went in. Yay! I got up early.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So,
let's hear what you've done.
Friday night, I went out with some friends. Just having a good time. The Friday nights. So we went out to dinner, and they were like, you know what? We should go to the mall. So we went, to the mall.
Sure.
Because, you just walk around. You're hanging out. It's an outdoor mall. The weather's beautiful. Let's just go for a stroll, shall we? So we did. And while we were out there, we're like, we need some Starbucks for this. So we went in, ordered our Starbucks, whatever. And a bunch of them were like, hey, why don't you hang out, get our drinks? We'll be right back. They wanted to go to the bathroom. Somebody else wanted to run over to the Apple store. And I was like, I want to go to the Apple store. Why do I have to get the drinks? But whatever.
But you just had to.
So I'm hanging out there and picking up the drinks. And so the lady I'm waiting for a couple of coffees and a Frappuccino. So the lady calls my name, Wayne. It's my middle name.
That's what he uses.
Wayne. So I go up there and I get these two drinks that are sitting there. And like I said, my one friend had a Frappuccino, and I was like, you know what? Make me wait. I got out a straw, slid it in there, and I'm like, I'm going to drink some of this Frappuccino. It's a venti after all.
Sure.
So I'm drinking some of this Frappuccino. And in the meantime, there are these two kids there. They're, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. It's like, where's your mom? You shouldn't be here by yourself. It's the mall at night. What's going on?
It's a coffee place.
And so they just stare at me. And they stare at me and they stare at me. And I'm just sipping this Frappuccino.
Did they know who you were or something?
I don't know. And they just kept looking at me and looking at me. And I'm just like, what?
You're a fascinating person.
What is the deal with these kids? And after a while, as I'm sipping on this Frappuccino and just sitting here, I realized that it's two kids. And one of the kids has a Frappuccino. And then one of the kids doesn't. And as I'm just enjoying my friend's Frappuccino, I realize that they're not so much, they're staring at me the more I drink this Frappuccino.
Because they don't know what to do.
And then it finally occurs to me what has happened. I'm drinking their Frappuccino. This big, lumbering fat guy at the mall wandered up, this monster, stole their Frappuccino, and now they don't know what to do. So they are staring at him, trying to figure out, do they say something? Oh, no, he's drinking it again?
Yeah.
Am I going to have to drink after the monster that stole from us?
Did they call the name, or how come that wasn't, part of your group, or what? Where did the mistake come in?
They had two drinks sitting right next to each other. I'm waiting on a drip coffee and a Frappuccino and
you just
whatever
assumed.
the heck the other thing was. And so these drinks are sitting there and they say Wayne, and so I just grabbed them. And so then I check the thing. Wayne is on the drip coffee, but on the Frappuccino, there's no name at all. And I'm like, these are this.
Well, maybe not. Maybe Wayne was just the grouping of it, and maybe they still, were waiting on their drink, and it wasn't that.
No, it was.
It was theirs. What do you do? You say something? Or?
I went over there, and I was just like, hey, guys, did I take your Frappuccino? And all they did was sit there staring with their mouth open.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I just and all they're hearing is like, I'll eat all your Frappuccinos.
Because you're a monster.
I'll swallow your soul.
I don't think it was that bad. You're not the only one to accidentally pick up a drink.
So what I should have done is been like, hey, barista, this isn't really my fault, but it's kind of your fault, and it's kind of my fault. There's a shared fault. So, since your money's not on the line, why don't you just make another one?
This is a training lesson for them, just to learn, hey, this is where the problem came in.
So instead, I just went through line, bought another Frappuccino.
Oh, did you?
And just gave it to the kids. And they were like, Monster Frappuccino, run! Run! And so they did. And here's the beauty of it is I'm like, well, I paid for this stupid Frappuccino. I might as well drink it.
You can both.
So I drank about half a Frappuccino. Now, I want you to think about something that we've learned about me in the last couple of weeks. What is that, Nikki?
Well, you're living a dairy-free lifestyle.
Because I'm lactose intolerant.
So I assume the other Frappuccino you were wanting to sip on was dairy-free.
No, it wasn't mine. So,
why were you drinking it then?
Because it was, okay.
You just forgot?
It was my friends, and I was just having a couple sips of it, and I was like, that's what you get for leaving me here with your stupid drink.
But now who's the one who really loses out in the end because you had dairy?
So here's what happens.
Uh-huh.
I paid for
a
Frappuccino. Well, no, let's do this in order. I stole a Frappuccino.
From a kid.
From a child.
From a kid.
Discovered I was a monster. Then said, I paid for this stupid thing. I might as well drink it after ordering them a second one. My friend shows up, which, by the way, I've got their Frappuccinos now. So I've got 6 drinks out on the table. And one of my friends just looks at me and goes, I thought you were lactose intolerant. And I was like, oh, my gosh.
You forgot.
Oh, my gosh. This is straight milk. So, then
good for you.
I had another opportunity to discover.
Oh, later, yeah.
What a monster I was.
All right, well, did it bother your stomach? Because then it helps you realize, you cannot have dairy then.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. Okay, so just think of it as what's the word?
It was punishment.
No, you're just part of the... making sure.
It was the training process.
Yes, you can confirm it made you sick.
I'm a monster, guys. Just letting you know.
Where do you go when you need someone to listen to your problems and give you a big hug? Not here. Obviously, this is The Riot on RadioU.
How many people live in Texas and were going to the Alamo Drafthouse last night? Oh, no hands? One hand.
Did they do something?
Well, they were having a special screening over the weekend of Terminator 2. And so you could go see Terminator 2, and then you were going to get an extra, few minutes of Terminator Dark Fate in theaters next week.
Well, at that point, they should just let you watch the whole new Terminator movie.
They did.
Oh, they did?
They did. That was the big surprise. So
I was going to say, it makes sense.
This theater of 400 or 500 people go in, sit down, whatever. Lights go down, and there's a special recorded message from Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, hey, everybody, thanks for coming to the Draft House. We're going to give you a special treat. We're going to show you the whole freaking movie.
The only thing, though, is that I wouldn't have planned for that many hours at the movie theater.
Well, the thing I still haven't, I'm only reading about this on Twitter. I follow Schwarzenegger on Twitter. Love me or hate me, but I do. And he is retweeting all of these other people's tweets about getting to see it. And so I don't know if they showed all of Terminator 2 and then showed the new Terminator movie, or if they showed the new one
instead of Terminator 2.
I don't know. Don't know the answer to that.
Because, you go there, you're planning for a couple of hours, and then they're like, here's another movie. I'm sure maybe they did.
In that particular case, I'd be like, you know what? I can swing it.
But I would want them to play the first movie, or I'm sorry, the newest movie first. Surprise me then, and then if I still wanted to see the other Terminator, the old one, put it second.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. But I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. But this may shock you, but all of the tweets he's retweeting say it's amazing.
Oh, really? I'm so surprised.
That's hard to believe, I know.
We never do any fun movie stuff anymore. I'm always going early on a Tuesday when it's super cheap.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I've already made up my mind. You guys will recall moments ago when we rediscovered that I'm a monster, which as a monster, I'm free to now be part of the problem. And I'm going to be part of the problem next Friday. I'm going to see
You're seeing Terminator, the
absolutely.
new one?
I'm doing
Why?
it. I'm in. I'm doing it.
Why?
Hey, Nikki, I'll eat a hot pretzel while I'm there. And now
You
Nikki's
are a
like,
monster.
oh, I want to go.
No, I'm not
Is
going
there
for
going to be a
that.
hot pretzel?
Nope, I'm not going for that.
Come on, Nikki. You
You're
want
only
to go?
going, and then if you tweet, what if Arnold Schwarzenegger retweets you?
I'll live.
You need to. You need to try to.
Arnold, give me a retweet, buddy. You're the best and your movie's the best. Oh, my gosh. So,
Well, have fun if you're going next week. So wait, is it this Friday or next Friday?
It's next Friday. I really wish it was this Friday because, Thursday night, you watch the Riot Live event, whatever, and then Friday morning.
Oh, you could have gone. Maybe check some of the theaters. Will run them the weekend before as like a little promo thing.
I'll look, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But next Friday, Nikki, if you want to celebrate the launch of November.
What?
We could all go to you, me, and Eric.
Where?
See if my dad's available. We could all go to the movies together.
Can we see something else?
No.
Anything else?
Nope.
I haven't seen the others. I won't be able to follow along, I'm sure.
Well, you got a week to get ready. 10 days, actually.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but I hope you were. I really hope so. But a few minutes ago, we were talking about how I follow Arnold Schwarzenegger on Twitter. I do. And, maybe I'm like the tiniest little bit ashamed, but, he's not the only celebrity I follow on Twitter. I also follow, let me see if I can get her name right. She's the co-host of a very popular morning show. Her name's Nikki.
Oh, it's me. Oh.
And she was tweeting over the weekend about seeing some people in her neighborhood that already have their Christmas lights up and on.
So Friday, I saw the first house where, have you ever seen a company comes out? Usually it's like landscaping companies.
Oh, and like they hire them to put the lights up? Yeah, sure.
It's not weird to see one of those companies put lights up, in October and in early November when it's still
especially because the weather's nice.
Yeah, so one house had the company come out and put up this elaborate amount of lights, which is shocking because they literally did nothing during the summer, like landscaping-wise or watering grass-wise, all that.
Well, maybe this is their thing.
This is where they go all out. So that I saw, but they don't turn them on. But then on Saturday night, another neighbor put their lights up.
Yep.
And they're on.
Throw the switch.
Through the switch. And this isn't like hard lights. It's the projector ones. The ones that you just put in the ground. It's not like your
star shower thing?
Yeah, it's not like I'm putting it up early so I don't get cold and do it in November or December. This is the easiest ones.
So, okay.
So it's a red and green star shower one.
Do you think maybe they accidentally had it on, like they didn't know? Because it could be one of those things where it had a switch where it was like on, or maybe it was like the light detected. So like once the light goes down to a certain amount, it just kicks on.
No, I mean, he put them out and up. He was out there for a while. He put garland around, so there's white lights in certain areas too, and those are up. Those were up this morning when I was driving into work.
Yeah.
So, shots fired. Christmas is ready to go.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. Like, part of me is like, hey, this is great, but I'm also conflicted because every other house in the neighborhood has like orange lights up and graveyards going on.
Well, yeah. I got to tell you, just as a side note, normally I enjoy all the little Halloween displays and they're fun. This year, I'm just like, what are we doing?
Why are we putting so much effort into it?
I think I said this on the show last week, but I drove past somebody's house that had bloody handprints all over their garage door, and it was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but they had fun doing that.
I'm sure. I don't know why, but I don't know why this is the year where I'm just like, what is this? Okay, back to the whole Christmas thing, Nikki.
Yeah.
I want you to know that I saw a couple of our listeners this weekend that had, in fact, put their Christmas trees up. In fact, I saw my cousin Justina. It looks like...
it's up and ready?
Oh, yeah.
But do they turn them on, or is it just you're putting them up? Inside
Nikki,
stuff.
This looks on and in the window.
We're not even to November.
This is in the window. Because my thought was, I was like, oh, they're probably just posting a picture from last year saying, oh,
We're
can't
getting
wait.
Ready.
No.
It's
on
all
and
up.
in the window. And then I saw that apparently it must be just my family, because one of my other cousins was like, yep, us too. And I was like, what is going on?
Ryan just texted, said they put up their first Christmas tree yesterday. So Ryan, how many do you put up during the season?
Oh, see, no, Ryan, this is my cousin.
Oh, that is?
This is my cousin's husband. So he's a cousin by marriage.
What are you guys doing?
I don't know, but a couple people on Twitter were like, I'll bet Obadiah has his up. I want you to know that I, in fact, do not have a tree up yet.
It's too early. I at least try to wait through, obviously Halloween. And then in November, closer to Thanksgiving, we put our stuff up. But when I saw that on Saturday, I was like, why am I seeing red and green lights?
So are you telling me that, okay.
These are not Halloween lights.
No, okay. But do you feel enabled or outraged?
Confused.
Okay. Because I feel like this year you're going to be like, no.
I'm still putting them up when I normally do.
But I feel
like the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
I feel like next year you might be like,
why not? No, I'm just very confused. I look out my door, I see red and green showers over here, and then I see a Halloween and like the person has a huge graveyard thing and a giant blow up Nightmare Before guy, and you're just like, what am I seeing?
The Riot, not everyone's fan.
I wonder whose idea this was.
RadioU.
So Nikki just passed me this article about that upcoming Star Wars TV show that's going to be on the Disney
Plus.
Remember,
if you had a DeLorean and a mandolin, and that's what you put together, you get the Mandalorian.
That's right. And so the word is, I kind of wondered what they would do, but they're going to release one episode a week.
Kind of thought they were going to do that. It's the new way, and most higher profile shows do not completely send it all out, outside of like Stranger Things.
Right.
But most stuff is now doing the week-to-week episodes.
I think that's going to be the future. It's funny, but Netflix introduced us to this idea of binge watching. Like, hey, I guess that really got popular with quote unquote TV on DVD. But, Netflix, that's been like their business model is, hey, we're going to give you the show and we're going to give you all of it at once.
Yeah.
But now that they're going to have competition and all these other people are, they're going to drip feed you the content almost like you're watching TV.
They're stringing you along.
Week to week to week. That's what I figure. I've been watching The Expanse on Amazon Prime. I have 2 episodes left in season 3. Season 4 comes out in December. I'll lay you money that is going to be a
week
to week thing. There's
Amazon
no way they're going to drop
too.
it all. Yeah. But then, like Netflix has some things they're doing that with, but as I understand it, like Lost in Space comes out on Christmas Eve, and I think you're getting the entire thing. I
don't know why they decide. I don't know like what that meeting looks like. I don't know what's the reasoning behind some getting a dump out and then others week to week. I'm not sure.
Well, Nikki, in the, like with the Great British Baking Show.
That's every week.
Which we both watch. Yes, I watch it. And you know what's worse than me watching it? I don't just watch it, I like it.
Yay. Yay.
In what can only be described. They're going to have a
holiday season.
I know. And what can only be described as contrary to the nature that many think I have. I appreciate the fact that they all hug each other at the end.
They help.
Instead of it like yelling, they help each other. They encourage each other. I'm like, this is great.
It's a nice show.
This is great right here.
But yes, that one is where every Friday it comes out. So
yeah. I'm
not too surprised for The Mandalorian. So they are going to do it weekly.
Yeah, I'll bet the rest of their stuff is this way too. Because what do they got? The High School Musical thing and what's the other high-profile show that they have launching? Because there's another one. What is it?
The Lizzie McGuire one?
Is that a show? I thought that was.
I don't know if it's a show or a movie. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but that's going to be my guess. I'll bet you that they.
But I think if it skews younger, they might just dump it out.
You think so?
Like the High School Musical one?
See, I don't think so. I think that's another, because here's what I think. I think Disney Plus needs you. They're not going to have as much content. And I think that Apple's going to be the same way. When you don't have as much there,
you can't just throw it all out there.
You can't throw it all out, because if they just, burp up all their content on November 11th, why stick around in December? You just leave. So they're going to need you to do that. And I haven't seen it, but again, I'm assuming Apple's going to be the same way. And I'm a little embarrassed, but I'm signing up for Apple. I'm watching all those shows. I want to watch C, and I want to watch For All Mankind. I hate that.
And you want to watch it every week.
I hate that. What am I doing?
Why? It's good to find a show you like. It's nice.
Is it?
It is.
It is, actually. I've been watching The Expanse, and I'm just loving it.
Yeah, it's great when you find a show that you enjoy. It's been a long time. Normally we pass on a lot of stuff. And
a lot of stuff,
it gets tiring,
Nikki.
It gets old.
It's nice to finally have something you like.
All right. So there you go. There's something we're looking forward to.
Oh.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I will tell you guys that sometimes when it comes to TV and lots of different kinds of entertainment, what'll happen is you write a script or a treatment or something, and then it takes a while for that to finally find its way into series or a movie. Sometimes, they'll write a script in the 70s and it's just now getting made or something like that. People option it. And, with all these streaming services starting up, it seems to me like it might be a good time for us to break out an old treatment that I had put together.
You just found this one.
That I had just found. And, it might be, maybe get Apple on the phone, maybe call Disney, I don't know, but see what you guys think. Now, this has a very particular Canadian flair, and I think we can absolutely shoot in Vancouver next week.
So where did this one come from? Or what year was it?
This is from 2014.
2014.
Yeah, and this is Obadiah's idea for a Canadian TV show. You ready? Okay. Alberta was just sworn into the Canadian Mounties, but finds most men in the small town of Moose Jaw are intimidated by a strong woman until the new hockey coach at the high school moves in. Will Tim see past her gruff exterior and find the next Mrs. Horton? Will Alberta ever be able to love again after that incident at the maple syrup factory? Huh?
Look at that.
Now look at that. That's a pitch.
That's something I want to watch each week.
They call that an elevator pitch, Nikki. That's what you do right there. Up? No, because it's something that you can deliver in an elevator.
Oh, it's super quick.
Yeah, between the floors. I'm telling you.
It still holds well, even though that was your idea a few years ago. It still works well.
I think it totally does. And I'll just say this, even if it's not a TV show, we can get that on Hallmark and make it. All you got to do is keep all the Canadian stuff and put a Christmas tree up. Boom. It's a Christmas movie.
Is there a Hallmark Canada? Do they have their own side of it, or is it just Nikki, Hallmark?
All of Hallmark is Canada.
Well, it's filmed in Canada.
It's all filmed in Canada.
It's not,
so don't worry. You got a couple of American performers, but everybody in the background's Canadian.
It's Canadian.
It's all Canadian.
Hey, that's how it is for Hallmark, Sci-Fi, basically every network.
Everything on cable is shot in Canada.
It all has the same look.
It absolutely does.
Well, good job on that one, though. That's a strong one. That's a strong contender for some sort of Hallmark thing.
I'm telling you right now, I could write that script now.
See, that's
I could have it ready to go.
I think it's a good Valentine's Day one.
It's a good one. Here's what I'm thinking. I was listening to these two guys, writers, and they producer, director kind of stuff. And what they did was they were just hey, we're going to go to a hotel. It must be a really nice one because it was a room with 2 stories.
Yeah.
So they each had their own room and their own whatever.
What hotel's that one?
I don't know. Wow. But they were yeah. So we just over 3 days, we wrote the script in 3 days. Nikki, you and me, 3 days, locked in some kind of a cabin. We're knocking this script out.
Do you
ready.
know we could have the entire Hallmark or Lifetime or every one of those, the entire holiday season written?
Yeah,
the whole winter months.
Come on. I'm ready. Let's do it.
One day we're going to write it.
Canadian.
I don't want to actually write it. I just want to come up with ideas, but I don't actually want to write the movie.
Oh, well, you know what? We work on it together. We'll just
You do most of that part,
Actually,
but
I'm not a great scriptwriter.
I don't think that's where we'll be strong.
I've kind of tried it because whatever. I was like, could I write a scene? And the answer is no.
And Alberta then just walked into the door.
Yeah.
Knock, knock, knock.
Let's take a break.
I don't think I can type it all out.
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on RadioU.
You know, Nikki, we were talking about scripts earlier, and sometimes they write themselves.
Yeah.
Get a load of this. I have another. Now, this is not going to go on Hallmark, but I've got our next movie right here. All right, this is the story of Jack. This is an actual news story. Jack lives in California, and he and his wife, they've got a nanny, but they also have a Nest system of cameras in the house so they can check in anytime they want.
Sure.
And I'm not super familiar with these systems, but apparently with the Nest, not only can you watch, but you can also talk.
Yeah, talk through them.
So, you can say, hey, Dad's watching you, or I don't know, whatever. So he does that, whatever. The nanny's watching the baby. Baby's 18 months old. And this voice comes across the camera and starts laughing and says, "You have such a nice house. Wow."
Someone got on the frequency?
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody hacked into their Nest camera.
Oh, I don't know what you would do with that.
And then the nanny did not respond. And then the voice began yelling and said, "If you don't answer me, I'm coming for the baby."
Weird.
Oh, it's coming from inside the house.
But in not this case. It's outside the house.
But it's not the house, it's the camera.
So does someone have to be still close by or for hacking the frequency, or how does that really work?
Well,
like,
no,
is it someone in the neighborhood, or is it just someone around?
Sounds to me like somebody logged into their account.
Okay, that
or something,
way. So
right?
they
Or
can
hacked.
be anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that they were in the neighborhood. It could just be a matter of them logging into their
Nest account, and they got it that way.
I guess, because I think that's what you have to do to talk through the camera. But, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the system or how it works. But I do know this. Nest is owned by Google. And so they complained to Google, and Google was like,
What?
Was
that really the official announcement from Google on this?
Let me ask you a question. Do you have Google's number?
No.
And
you don't even know where to complain about that.
And how are you going to find it?
I bet you go on Facebook.
You're going to Google it.
No, you got to
and
go
they're
through
not
the
gonna
Nest
give it
stuff.
to you.
You got to go through the Nest stuff, and you complain that way.
So they say they've complained. They haven't heard back about it just yet, but they have disabled all of their Nest stuff.
Yeah, but that's not the first time that's happened. That can happen.
Mm-hmm. Come on, though. This is our script.
This is our script?
Yeah, this is our next idea starter for our long weekend where we're writing all the movies.
Okay, we got to go. And what's the feel for that one? I feel more suspense, though.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we do that as well.
It's supposed to be terrifying, but I think it's got to have twists in it. So the idea is that we find out is that it's actually the nanny wanted to kidnap the baby. But that's
an elaborate plan.
And it turns out that she was working with somebody else to hack in, so it would, deflect whatever. Then we find out, I got two ideas. Okay, either you ready for this? The nanny is dating the wife's ex-boyfriend from a long time ago.
Okay, and getting back at him. Okay.
Or wait for this, the nanny is one of the husband's ex-girlfriends who was terribly disfigured in an accident, had insane plastic surgery, and is gorgeous now, but nobody would recognize her.
Well, that's two really suspenseful twists, so I don't know which one we're going to go with.
All right, well, that's why we got to go on this writer's retreat.
I'd rather still write more lighthearted Hallmark type stuff.
In the meantime, they've disabled all their Nest stuff, and I don't know. I don't have Nest cameras, so I got nothing to throw away.
Well, they just want you to take a look at yours.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Well, it would appear, Nikki, that records were set this weekend. You and I were doing whatever the heck it is that we do.
And we're not a part of this.
Whatever it is. And these guys were out there setting records.
For the Guinness Book of World Records?
I don't know who wrote it down, but Qantas is an Australian commercial airline and they made the longest commercial flight in history.
I don't know if I could do it. Wasn't it like 19 hours or something?
Yep, it was 19 hours and 16 minutes.
And I know they're like, oh, that's fine. You'll just fall asleep through most of it. Nope. I don't sleep that long at nights. I don't know if I could do that.
I don't think I would either. Airplanes are funny for me. The pressurized cabin, it's this weird thing where it's like I'm really tired, but I can't sleep.
It's a hit or miss. I don't know if you can actually sleep during it, but
it's tough.
That's a long trip right there.
Yeah. So the idea here was it was 10,000 miles
and
without
from where
refueling.
To where?
That was from New York City to Sydney, Australia. They say it saved about 4 hours by not stopping for what's the word I want?
Refueling,
layovers, all that stuff.
All that.
So they also had a team involved basically studying the effects of such a long flight.
On the people?
So the pilots wore these headbands to manage their brain waves or record their brain waves, and they offered yoga for the passengers to get them stretched out and stuff.
Of all classes?
Well... my thought was, you have this...
Where in the plane was this yoga class being offered, and were you allowed to go there?
It was essentially, like, if you look at it, it's not so much that it was in first class. It looks like it was back in the galley.
Like they had a little bar drink area.
Yeah, and so like they were allowing people to go back there and stretch out. And so, I mean, I had the same image you did. Like, we're on a 747, and there's one deck that's nothing but yoga, but only if you pay for it. No, this was it may not have been impromptu, but it seemed kind of impromptu. Like, hey, come back here and you can do some good stretches.
Yeah, it depends on if you've ever been on a long haul flight. They have like little areas where you can go walk around and stuff. And not everybody uses that, or most of our planes, if you're just within the United States, you're not getting that. It's not long enough.
So things that you have to be afraid of on a long haul flight.
That deep vein thrombosis. Don't know why I know that. I don't know why I know that.
Too many years in this room.
Is it because we're just sitting here?
That's why you know. Dehydration, infection. You are 100 times more likely to catch a cold on a plane than you are somewhere else. Yeah. Radiation. Pilots and crew are exposed to high levels of radiation during frequent flying.
I know that from watching Chernobyl stuff on YouTube, because they're always like, you get more radiation in the plane. They always say that.
Bloating and swelling.
Oh, it's
dizziness.
not pleasant.
Well, it is what it is.
But it's nice if you can find it's worth it, I guess, if you can find a direct flight. So if you're like, I just need to get to Sydney and I'm in New York, then this is your thing.
Anybody else feel like Nikki's just sold it to us again? It's worth it, I guess.
Well, we've all been, routed those unfortunate ways.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, I'm in L.A. trying to go to San Francisco and they take you through Atlanta. We've all had that.
Well, it's just cheaper.
And
plus, you get a chance to take a break, sit in that seat, get cozy.
It's a shame when you see that they have you coming in the next day. You're like, wait, why?
You're like, oh, that's why this was so cheap.
Why was it such a long flight?
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Do you guys have any thankful tenders with a gravy dipping sauce?